Bayou City. My name is Jesus Acevedo Jr., and I'm joined by the one and only, you can't clone him, and I think I've said that so many times, I probably need to change it up, but the Zodiac GM.
Hey, what's going on? Welcome. What's up?
Caught you off guard with that one, huh?
That slight pause a little bit.
A slight pause. Zodiac,
what's up?
It's NBA Finals time, Zodiac, in our first time doing this podcast. Now, we've been watching the finals since I mean, we were some young guns out there, you know?
Yep.
What's your favorite NBA Finals memory? I think I know what it is, but I just want to, let the public hear. What is your favorite NBA Finals memory?
Houston Rockets, man.
Houston Rockets. Which one?
The second one.
Okay,
it has to be the second one.
For sure.
Yeah, it has to be the second one. The first one was sort of like, hey, they had the team, but the second was 6 They were sort of like that average team, a little bit like, I wouldn't say a little bit like the Mavericks now, but they were sort of that underdog. And then for them to come out on top back to back and having that major comeback, I mean, it was a big deal. So that was one of my favorites.
Still, I think the most disrespected NBA champion ever. The only one, the lowest seed to ever win it. So that says something. I think we've had an 18 in the NBA Finals. It was the New York Knicks against the San Antonio Spurs, 1999 NBA Finals, if I don't remember.
Ooh,
but nobody. Latrell
Sprewell.
Sprewell, Allen Houston. Man, Allen Houston has such a sweet jumper. And Grandmama, Larry Johnson. But yes, that my NBA, obviously my favorite NBA Finals memory is those two back-to-back Houston Rockets titles. And to be specific, the second one really just solidified how much I love basketball. The first one was the first championship when it kind of started. Okay, this is basketball, right? But that second one, and I always remember Kenny Smith in Game 1, tying the game, and so that's.
Yeah, I remember all that, and then next thing you know, flips over. The first one flipped over to O.J. Simpson and this white Bronco, just being on that chase. I don't remember that. I was like, what is this?
I had no idea what was going on. I was like, what? Who is O.J. Simpson? Why do I care about this white van? And it's wild that was during those NBA Finals. Yeah, they totally flipped, But it is NBA Finals for the 2023-24 NBA season, and it's been a great season. We're not going to talk about the full season yet because we still got the NBA Finals, but we're down to two teams. So they're like two teams. One that many anticipated will be there, which is the Boston Celtics representing the Eastern Conference. And representing the Western Conference is a team that I don't think many saw coming to the NBA Finals. They always say they have potential to make it on talent alone. And look, that talent has now led them there. That's the Dallas Mavericks. Exactly. First, just overall thoughts, before we get into, what first jumps out to you when you look at the Dallas versus Boston NBA Finals as far as like these two teams making it here? Did you expect both of these teams to
I honestly, I expected Boston to be there. Dallas, to be honest with you, to me, it's a shock. It's a shocker. Like their stars, they're just doing their thing right now. Irving and Doncic are just leading the way. They're the alpha dogs. They're the one that's like, you know what? Just let me just carry on and let's go ahead and win this championship. I think this is gonna be one of the best NBA Finals in quite some time. You have Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, but you gotta be careful with Jaylen Brown. He's quiet. He's like one of those quiet but strong type of individuals, But then on the other side, you have Irving. He has a whole Boston against him too, So that's gonna be really, really fun series to watch.
There's definitely a lot of storylines, and I almost envy the journalists covering this sport because there's so many stories to pick at. Where Kristaps Porzingis, an ex-Maverick, now he's with Boston, and I'm not sure if you saw this. A quick side, but I'm not sure if you saw this. The Washington conspiracy, the Washington Wizards conspiracy, that every
like 8 years in a row, right?
8 years in a row, somebody that used to be a Washington Wizard is in the NBA final. And in this one, we have both, right? Kristaps Porzingis and Daniel Gafford. But yeah, so I'm in agreement with you. I look back at all of our episodes, and I don't think we mentioned the Dallas Mavericks maybe more than once. So they weren't on the radar as much. I mean, we knew about them because of their talent. Like you said, look at Doncic, Kyrie Irving. So they were always there. We know those guys. But it wasn't until in the middle of the season, before the NBA trade deadline, that this team turned. And that's where we're starting today's first topic is the Dallas Mavericks and how they got to the NBA Finals. So they talked to me about this midseason trade that really changed their season completely. It just turned it. You know, they got PJ Washington and Daniel Gafford, inserted them into the starting lineup, and it just became a different Dallas Mavericks team. I believe they've only lost, how many games? Was it 5 games that they've lost as a starting unit? I could be wrong. I know that was in the regular season. Yeah, right. Yeah. They won they're like 20. And so what can you tell us about this midseason trade and how that affected this team?
The best way to think about it is that before the trade happened, they were sort of that mediocre synergy type of team, but they had the talent to be good. And if you can even go back in time and reset anywhere from the month of February, the beginning weeks of month of February, there was a lot of people who were just kind of skeptical about the direction where the Mavericks were going. I mean, it was there. Of course, the trends go up and down, right? It's very volatile, right? The social media, they say, oh, Mavericks are really, really good or really, really bad based on 1 or 2 games here and there. That's sort of how they were in the beginning of February, right? But the thing here, whenever they got those 2 key players, Daniel Gafford and also PJ Washington, what that solidified was actually helping their 2 star players, because there's 2 star players. They don't have that best connection overall because Irving, he's an Aries. He does, I guess if you want to consider him of a cusp of a Pisces, but slightly, but he technically is an Aries, right? And then you have Doncic being a Pisces. So it's a very, very offsetting type of synergy, right? And that goes to show the way they've played. But here's a quick fact, right? Before the trades came in, Luka Doncic and Irving combined were they had the win-loss record of 20-21. That's under 500. Wow. Under 500. Okay. As soon as the trades came in and everything, well, the records ended up being 20-6. Oof. With PJ Washington into the mix, with Daniel Gafford into the mix. That's a big improvement. It's sort of like it's like you're providing your best 2 players. Hey, okay, we need to figure out what's the best way to work. Okay, Luka, we'll give you PJ Washington. That's an energy that fits best for you because PJ Washington's a Virgo, Luka's a Pisces. That Virgo Pisces connection, I mean, it's strong.
Another strong Virgo Pisces that we saw in this playoffs was Josh Hart and Jalen Brunson, right?
Exactly. And you see it all over sports. I mean, I've seen it over the years, and it's a very strong connection. Virgo Pisces. I mean, look at Miles winning 3 championships. Look at his coach, Andy Reid, Pisces Virgo. I mean, you can go on and on, but hey, they also
So then who was Kyrie Irving's energy? Was then that, PJ Daniel Gafford? Was his energy?
Well, Daniel Gafford actually helped boost his energy as well. But in reality, as far as in that starting unit, it's I can't think of his name.
Derrick Jones?
Derrick Jones. Yes, Derrick Jones Jr. is an Aquarius. So Aquarius and Aries connection is very, very strong. But when you include that connection with Daniel Gafford being a Libra, because Aries and Libra has a strong connection mixed with an Aries, that sort of stabilizes that synergy there. And the reason why it works, I'll tell you why. Okay, they're 2 of the best one-on-one players, right? And as you can see throughout their games that I've watched, at least, they sort of take turns in a way, right?
Yeah.
And Jason Kidd has done a wonderful job saying, hey, maybe the synergy is not the best overall, because the synergy, you can kind of tell, hey, it's clicking when they're actually doing things together. But the way I see it, either the first half Doncic takes over, the second half Irving, or vice versa. They sort of let them do their thing, and then the other star player is sort of like the decoy, right? And they figured out a way to do that, because they, of course, Lively and adding him into the mix, which is very compatible to Kyrie Irving. They do a lot of lobs. They do a lot of alley-oops. And that works perfectly for their pick and roll type of game, right? Both for Doncic as well. He finds who in the corner most of the time? PJ Washington. Yeah. And that, so they found a way to connect everything. And I think you have to give a lot of credit to Jason Kidd because of that. He was able to figure it out as the season went on. And mind you, this team was sort of like that 500 type, in between mediocre team before the trade season. Don't forget that. But these 2 trades, credit to their GM, credit to Jason
Nico
Kidd
Collins.
for making it work. And look where they're at now. They're in the NBA Finals. And I'll also tell you this: they were very lucky that Minnesota Timberwolves beat the Denver Nuggets. They were very, very lucky because the Nuggets was a team to actually have some problem, to face some to give problems to the Dallas Mavericks, but they didn't have to face them. Hey, it's all good, you know.
And my apologies, is Nico Harrison. He's a Dallas Mavericks, December 28th, which makes him a Capricorn.
Hey,
what does that tell us about?
Natural leader, man. Natural leader. And so is Pelinka, also a Capricorn. I'm telling you, cardinal signs, okay? Just folks that are listening, cardinal signs of the Capricorns, the Aries, the Libras. Those are the type of energies that will lead. And you see a lot of managements that has that capacity. So yeah. So
wow. And so the Dallas Mavericks, what makes them unique is, like you said, they had the talent. So talent alone was going to get them to the playoffs. Say they don't make this trade, they would have made the playoffs, right? Easily. But I think maybe in the playoffs is where I think they would have maybe lost in the semifinal, or maybe lost in the Western Conference Final, because they didn't have these other two players that they're synergy matches with the starting lineup. But it's also the talent that they brought. The ability to have Derek Lively and Daniel Gaffer, and it's pretty much a like for like player, and then you bring PJ Washington. PJ Washington was also, he brought that toughness, which I feel that Dallas was missing. I thought that Grant Williams was going to give them that, and I'm not sure what happened there with Grant Williams. What was Grant Williams? What's his sign?
He's a Sagittarius.
Okay, so maybe that's what.
So he was a good mix for Irving. I know there's been reports out there, but the thing is, fire, that's a strong connection. But in reality, I think if you include an energy like Doncic, it throws everything off. I mean, it's amazing how, and on top of that, he's a big influence of the whole rotation. So it wasn't good. It wasn't the best mix for Grant Williams, unfortunately. But that's because it wasn't balanced. It was off balance. The way it is right now, it's a better fit for the two superstars right now. So yeah.
And then Jason Kidd, I know you mentioned, but he's an Aries, so he's also a fire one, right? So what does that? How does him being an Aries? Go ahead.
Real quick. Let me tell you something. So Kyrie Irving, he is an Aries sun with the Scorpio moon, right? Now Jason Kidd is also an Aries sun with the Scorpio moon. What does that mean? It's like you see a mirror image of yourself. So the connection that Jason Kidd has with Kyrie Irving is basically him giving his lead to an energy that's already matching, And it's much easier to translate the game plan, the vision. It's sort of like if Jason Kidd is implementing his whatever game plan that he has for each and every game, Kyrie Irving gets it, and he'll follow through the game, and that's a big advantage to have. Whenever you have matching sun moon combinations of that sort, it's like a mirror image of yourself. So. Hey, that's a big plus for them, and not a lot of people will know that or see that, of course. But that's a good connection overall.
Good connection, and that's where we're both surprised. We can say, and maybe we should have spoke more about them as they were going up the standings in the Western Conference. Because.
The thing I noticed before even the playoffs started, the one thing that I did give credit with the Dallas Mavericks is that they are a streaky team. And I was cautious with that is because they can be very, very, very good. Because when they are good, they go on a roll, or they can be really, really, really bad. So, and there's no between, so right now they're on the trend of doing really, really good. So they can actually continue that because the thing is, it takes one energy to either be out of the rotation or, God forbid, an injury here and there to throw everything off, right? But right now, everything is clicking. They have everything to their advantage right now. So we'll see if that carries on over against the Celtics starting Thursday.
And just to close it off, and just to, I guess, for those Phoenix Suns fans that are maybe listening, when Luka Doncic was coming, into the NBA draft, which
Oh
what year
my
was that? That
God.
was 2018. 2018. Me and
Wow.
Zodiac, we were speaking. I told Zodiac they need to get this Luka Doncic guy from Real Madrid. He won MVP. Like he's legit. And I remember you told me he's like, man, but DeAndre Ayton, he killed Arizona, and he did. There's no disrespect to DeAndre Ayton. He did great, and now it's wonder what his game will be now had Chris Paul not joined the Phoenix Suns. But he got finals experience. But anyways, just to kind of, for Phoenix Suns fans to hurt a bit as they watch Luka Doncic cook. What would a Luka Doncic and Devin Booker pairing had looked like from a synergy standpoint?
And real quick, just to note, my analysis actually during that year, I had no idea. I didn't even have a database or anything about this whole synergy, because that's actually when I started around 2018. Okay. And when he had told me that, I didn't even look into the whole astrology thing, especially for sports. I mean, I knew astrology, but I hadn't even implemented that. So at that time, I didn't even consider, okay, Ayton is a Leo cuss. Will it be a good fit with Booker or whatever the case or whatever it is?
Right.
And I didn't see that. But of course, I mean, if I was go back in time, it's clear as day. I mean, Doncic's energy matches Booker to a T. It's perfect. It's imagine if I know they have these battles, right? When these competitive battles when they play each other, right? And it's very fiery. It's very strong-willed, and but imagine when they're teammates, this connection is very, very strong. Doncic is a Pisces with a Leo moon. Okay. Now you have Booker, who is a Scorpio with a Gemini moon. Now that's a strong connection. If they were to play, wow. I mean, imagine where the Phoenix Suns would be right now.
Wow.
I mean, who knows? Who knows? Because that's a strong connection.
Who knows? Wow. Well, there you go, Phoenix Suns. A what if for you. But one what if the what ifs, and now I guess it's only fair we talk about the Boston Celtics, and they'll be our second topic today on this episode. And the Boston Celtics, I think most of us said it. Everybody said it. The media said it. Fans said it. Boston Celtics, yes, we expected you to be in the NBA Finals. Entering the season, you're one of the title favorites. You were one of the best teams in the NBA throughout the season, throughout the Eastern Conference, but it also has to be said, right, that maybe their schedule wasn't the toughest on the road to the NBA Finals, perhaps. But that's not their fault. We can go back and look at other NBA Finals teams that have had luck. I remember the Golden State Warriors, their first title. Every team they faced leading up to the NBA Finals, and even in the NBA Finals, the point guard was hurt. From Patrick Beverly to Kyrie Irving with the Cavs. He was hurt. I think he left after the first game. But Boston Celtics, they were playing the team that was in front of them. And behind Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, Holiday holding it down from a defensive standpoint, and Derek White. I think Derek White has been an unheralded player these playoffs. He's always there when they need him. But yeah, so and of course Al Horford. Oh my God, Al Horford. I feel like if Al Horford is still playing basketball, I should go out there and play some basketball, because he's 38 and he's been effective as I've never seen. So what can you tell us about this Boston Celtics teams and how connected are they? Remind us about how they're led.
So the core synergy here is actually Jason Tatum, who's a Pisces. Okay, that's your mutable energy right there. You have Jaylen Brown, who's a Scorpio. That's your fixed energy right there. And remember, I always try to look for that trifecta, right? So the third one is who's the cardinal energy. And believe it or not, they have it in Derek White.
There you go.
Derek White is the key piece to this whole team. Believe it or not, Derek White is a big deal. Okay. He does he's sort of like that quiet superstar, right? But not a lot of people realize him being in the rotation, him playing alongside with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Granted, they're both very, very talented. It feeds them that extra umph, that extra synergy, that connection. And not only that, those are their three primary players. Yeah, they have, Drew Holiday. Yes, they have Porzingis, and they sort of implemented them into the mix too. But their core synergy is those three in particular. And again, Derek White is key to this whole thing. Similar to how PJ Washington was acquired to help Luka Doncic. If you go back in time, back when Udoka was coaching the Boston Celtics were in the same scenario, that mid 500 type of team. And then guess what? They acquired Derek White. And what happens from that point on? They went to the NBA Finals. Of course, people don't even look at that, but these are key pieces that helps your superstars. It's a big deal. That was a big acquisition, same as PJ Washington was a big acquisition. It's sort of that low-key superstar, but it's sort of like that piece to the puzzle that connects their energies. That's the key thing, energies, okay? And look where they're at now. So also with Porzingis, I know he's in a play, but his key energy is Drew Holiday, because Porzingis is Leo, Drew Holiday's a Gemini. So that Gemini and Leo connection is also very strong, right? So they found a way to make everything work. But also with their head coach, he's a Cancer. Joe Mazzulla is a Cancer. So his connection is best suited with the big three that I just mentioned earlier, with Tatum, Brown, and Derek White. So overall, they have a really, really good synergy, but their talent, of course, A+, right? It's good because they have so many of them, right? You have Horford coming off the bench.
Another Gemini.
A Gemini with the Taurus moon, and he has that longevity. He has that consistency. He's just that professionalism. If you need him, he's going to show up. He's going to step up, and he's adaptable to any scenario that you put him into. And you know what? They got it going right now. So it's going to be a fun series regardless, but I'm excited about this one. But yeah, Celtics have a really good thing going on right now.
And then, how does Peyton Pritchard and Aquarius and Sam Hauser, who have seen some minutes, a Sagittarius, how would they play into their role?
Check this out. If you pay attention, a lot of their rotational flow, they have really good rotational flow, right? Positional synergy rotational flow. Okay, so most of their bench consists of either air or fire, right? You like you mentioned, you have Horford as a Gemini, air sign. You have Pritchard, Aquarius, another air sign. You have Hauser, Sagittarius, a fire sign, and they play minutes, and they fit very well with Porzingis and Holiday. So whenever you need some rest for Tatum, Brown, or White, hey, their synergy actually gets better. Talent takes a step down, but their synergy gets better. So that's part of the reason why they're able to maintain a lot of these victories, or able to hold leads and win so many games. Being number one in the whole NBA was because of that. And that's another key thing, is that their positional rotation synergy is good. It's actually very, very good. And it benefits them throughout the games.
Wow. So it seems to me that, well, no, not seems to me, but, with Kristaps Porzingis coming in, whether how many minutes he plays or not, and because he hasn't been playing with this team, do you think that Leo, that fire, that Cardinal-esque could change the way this team plays, the flow that this team but the flow that this team had throughout the whole playoffs, the Boston Celtics?
Okay, so here's the thing that I see that could be a problem, right? So the one problem is if, again, God forbid, if Tatum is out of the rotation, it could cause an issue with Brown and Porzingis with the Scorpio and Leo energy, but it's just slightly. But it also depends on who the other three players are, right? If Holiday stays into the mix, and of course that's part of the reason why I say they have good center, they have good rotational flows, because the players that substitutes in for them actually helps Porzingis and or Holiday if one of the big three is out of the game, or two of the big threes out of the game.
Because here's a lineup that I think could work. Going to your point, you could have Drew Holiday, Derek White, Jaylen Brown, Al Horford, and Kristaps Porzingis.
There you go.
Because then you have two Geminis for Kristaps Porzingis, right? And then you have Derek White. You say he's a Cancer, right?
Yeah.
So Cancer, he'll match up with not match up, but him and Jaylen Brown and Scorpio. But I think that's one that could work, because I think I think the thing that we have to think about is how much time is he going to actually play? Maybe he starts, he only plays 15, 20 minutes, but, so I think it's going to be quite important and how Joe uses him and in the lineup he uses him. And going to your point, does he have enough synergy on the team? Because we've seen games where it seems like Kristaps Porzingis just disappears at times, right? Like the ball's not finding him and he's not going to look for the ball. And so I think that's what's going to be key. And that goes to what you're saying. It depends on who's in the game or not. And I think you say Jason Tatum and Kristaps Porzingis that they have a good match together.
Yeah, and I think the big key here is it's the low-key player to watch out for really is Derek White, because Dallas is going to put their attention to, of course, Tatum and Brown, or they're going to whatever, because Jason Kidd on the other side is one smart Aries, man. Aries are smart as hell. Like they're clever. They think ahead, right? So I'm curious to see what type of defensive schemes he's going to throw at the Boston Celtics, but I still see Derek White as a key piece, but believe it or not, I mean, Boston holds a very strong defensive schemes also, and one of the best defensive three-point shooting defense in the league. So a key piece that I'm thinking of is for Dallas is either Tim Hardaway Jr. or even Dante Exum, if granted if they're even healthy, right? But if they play some rotational minutes, because I have a feeling Boston's going to do everything to throw off the Dallas Mavericks. They're going to find a way to do that. That's just the way they are, right? And I think there's going to be some bench player that hasn't played much in the playoffs is going to have to step up. And I see a player like Dante Exum or Tim Hardaway Jr. as two energies that can actually step up. And those are couple players that I'm paying attention to for the series.
Funny Jason Kidd story that I think fits to what you say, that they think ahead. They're kind of sneaky, not sneaky, but they're like the way their mind works, right? So Jason Kidd, I think he was coaching the Brooklyn Nets at the time. The game is coming down to the wire. He doesn't have a timeout, and there's like a dead ball situation, right? He tells one of his players, "Hit me." And Jason Kidd had a cup of water. The player hits him, and he spills the water on him and on the floor. So obviously there's a timeout call so they can clean it up. And of course, his coaches are talking to the players about what play to run. So
Aries are smart. Look at Bill Belichick from the Patriots. Have you seen how he's manipulated a lot of these games over the years? Look at that one coach from Utah, Jerry Sloan. Man. He turned an average team into one of the toughest teams to play against, right? Because those Aries energies just find ways. They're just so smart and clever. I mean, you got to admire that. You got to respect that, But if I was a Boston Celtics, I would pay more attention to kind of see what Jason Kidd in particular would bring, because he's one clever dude. But again, Joe Mazzulla, him being a Cancer, Capricorn moon, they're very results-oriented and emotional type of leaders. So you have two different type of leaders there. So we'll see. We'll see who wins that matchup there.
Well, speaking of results, it has come down to prediction time. Drum roll, please. Well, my drums are in storage, actually, so I'm just drumming my fingers on the desk, mind you. So Zodiac, prediction time. Who wins the NBA title? Who's going to raise the Larry O'Brien trophy and how many games? Go.
Oh, this is so tough. I really like Dallas because of Jason Kidd's energy along with Irving and Dante. But, man, it's sort of hard for me to go against Boston because they have a strong connection. So I would have to say Boston in 6.
Boston in 6. And you're making this prediction based on the synergy. You feel, but there is a stronger synergy?
They do have a stronger synergy and a slightly better overall talent. Now, Dallas has top-heavy talent, superstars, probably the best like one-on-one players in the whole entire league, right? But as a whole, I still feel, Boston's just a little bit better talent overall, and I think that's what's gonna give them the edge. And also, granted, if everyone's healthy, hopefully there's no injuries or nothing like that. If that's the case, I would see Boston winning it in 6.
I'm thinking the same as you, but I'm thinking Boston in 7. I think they win it in their home court because I think they have home court advantage, right?
You're right. You're right.
So I think it's gonna be Boston in 7. As much as I think Dallas is gonna push for it, they're going to push for it, and it's for me. It's just Boston has been there before. Now they won it. They had a taste. When they lost to the Golden State Warriors, they had that taste, and they want to finish what they couldn't finish, a couple of seasons ago. Like I think that was gonna just push them over the edge, over the talent. Because I think Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving, they're the two most talented players in these NBA Finals. No disrespect to Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, but I think they know where they stand. A couple of years from now, who knows? We could say it is Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, but right now, I think Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic, edge them out.
Hey,
but
check this out real quick. You got two energies on both sides. What's that term? Is it alter universe? Is that how they say it?
Oh, okay. Alter universe, multiverse. Yeah,
multiverse or whatever you call it, right? Like version of astrology, right? So on the Boston side, you have a Scorpio Aries energy combination that's determined to win, and that's in Jaylen Brown. Him being a Scorpio with an Aries moon. Okay, just keep that in mind. Now you go over to Dallas, you have the same thing, but flip. You have an Aries sun with a Scorpio moon energy that's also determined to win.
Who is that?
That is Kyrie Irving.
Ooh.
So you have sort of like the same energies, but flipped in a sense, right? That's the reason why I mentioned multiverse or whatever you want to call it. That's going to go against each other. That's going to do their best to win, because Scorpios are very passionate individuals. I mean, they're the ones that, hey, if you want to go down, they're the one that's going to take you to win it all, right? So Boston, I mean, has that in Jaylen Brown, and Kyrie Irving is on the Dallas Mavericks side. So we'll see. All
right. So that we both picked Boston. You got 6, I got 7. Now, the final prediction. Finals MVP, who do you think lifts that trophy?
Finals MVP, Tatum. Tatum slows. I mean, he's sneaky. I have a feeling he's going to find a way to make it happen. But I think he's going to need the help of everyone else around him, right? But I feel like Tatum's going to take it. Jason Tatum.
You say Tatum is going to lift the Bill Russell NBA Finals MVP. You know what? I'm going to go with Jaylen Brown. You've convinced me. I was actually going to go with Tatum, but you convinced me. I think Jaylen Brown, he's going to have a big showing. I believe that he's had a good playoffs, great playoffs, been, consistent. But I think he's going to be the difference maker. I think Tatum's going to get his points. I think he'll get votes. But I think Jaylen Brown's is going to edge him out. So I think that's who gets it. So there you go. Those are our predictions. Go ahead.
Again, don't be surprised if Dallas comes out swinging and even dominate the series. I wouldn't be surprised, because they've done it the whole playoffs. And the key individual that on that team, Jason Kidd, if he finds a way to surprise and throw everyone off guard and have Boston like, wow, we didn't see this coming. Hey, Dallas can do some damage. So don't rule them out. We'll see. That's the reason I'm so excited, because I'm curious to see what Jason Kidd's going to bring to the series. So we'll see how it goes.
And that's why I said, it's going to be a 7-game series. I think Dallas is going to do everything possible, especially with the talent and the rhythm that they have right now. The synergy that they have since they made those midseason trades. Like they know it. And talent, like you said, top heavy. They're superstars. They're top heavy. Yeah. So it's gonna be quite a match, So that's our last episode. That's our last topic. What's our predictions? Well, that's our last episode for this week for sure. Zodiac, we'll be back on Monday. You're hearing this on Wednesday. We'll be back to our regular schedule next week. But any last final words before this final season begins?
Follow us on Twitter X at Hoopstrology and the Zodiac GM.
And follow me, Jesus_Acevedo Jr. and follow the Bayou Sidian. Thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to subscribe. See ya.